Welcome to Joa Fitness Health Wellness Video Podcast, a space to ignite your day through positive conversations. We bring people that have created excellence in their life, sharing high vibration in their reawakening path.
Hello, my friends. Happy Friday and welcome to Back into Alignment. I am here, your podcast host, Joa Rivas. I am excited to welcome you to another episode. Every Friday, we bring you information related to spinal health and to wellness, especially because it comes from my own story having scoliosis and chronic back pain for 10 years, and how I actually transform my body and how I heal my body is actually very inspiring, and I can wait to share more information about secrets and solutions that are actually easy to get access. Today, I also wanted to invite you to the 30-day hip healing if you are experiencing lower back pain and hip stiffness. With the 30-day hip healing, you can practice only 10 minutes a day and you will be able to see a difference for 30 days. The most important on anything is to actually create a habit, and through behavioral change, we will be able to implement 10 minutes stretches every day to be able to get a more mobile spine and also to improve your posture, which is something so important for those that are sitting for long hours. So if you are experiencing of hip mobility problem, or if you are having a constant lower back pain, then this program perhaps will be a very good way to start a change this 2023. So before further ado, let's start our conversation with Dr. Shivani Gupta. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to Back into Alignment podcast. Here, Joa Rivas, your host of this weekly podcast. Exciting that we are about to finish the very first month of 2023. We start this month focusing on Ayurveda as the rejuvenated medicine, as the medicine to find longevity. So very exciting because habits is actually the most important part of our life, like what type of actions we're taking. And that's why I had the pleasure to be having Dr. Shivani Gupta for the last 3 episodes. And today we are going to have one talk related to sleep. It's really important to know that the sleep is the base out of our wellness. When we sleep well, we can recover, and all the other elements in life can actually fall into place. Very, very crucial to sleep and to improve our digestion. Last episode, we actually talked about gut health and turmeric, especially because Dr. Shivani is an Ayurvedic doctor, but also a specialist on turmeric. She studied over 3 years the benefits of taking turmeric. But before further ado, let's just start chatting with Dr. Shivani. How are you, Shivani?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Thank you so much. Again, this is our last episode number 4. If you are tuning into the podcast just today for the first time, we welcome you to check the last 3 podcasts that are actually related to Ayurveda. If you never heard about Ayurveda, Ayurveda is a medicine that actually started in India and is fundamental for anyone to understand our constitution, because it helps us to understand who we are and what we are made of. So very interestingly, if you come back into 3 episodes, we went through the 3 type of doshas, which is how they call the constitutions of our bodies. And if you don't know which one is your dosha, we welcome you to check Dr. Shivani's website, where she has a quiz of only 10 questions where you get a grasp about your dosha. Dr. Shivani is in Florida, and she's been sharing with us her journey to heal woman, especially woman. She's really focusing on woman's health. So Shivani, how is this month so far? I know you did a workshop. I'm wondering how this go. Tell us a little bit about how do you feel this 2023 so far?
You know, I think 2023 feels like it's going to be such a good year. From what I see around me, everyone takes a minute to adjust in January. Like sometimes January can feel kind of clunky. Like it's not like all of December's partying and drinking and celebrating just magically shuts off on January 1st, and we feel incredible and ready to win at our health goals or our business goals or whatever our goals are. So me personally, I've just been gentle with myself, and I was like, take your 2 or 3 weeks to get over the December hangover of too much celebration and all the overindulgences, and slowly, kindly adjust back. So I do a 7-day inflammation challenge online in my Facebook group and through email. And so I do that myself. I'm like, okay, this week we're giving up cheese. This week we're going to be very good on gluten. So really just de-inflaming from the holidays, I think is a huge deal. And then putting back the building blocks of health, like you just mentioned, sleep. In Ayurveda, we teach about something called circadian rhythm. And our circadian rhythm is us following nature's clock. We teach that nature has her own seasons. She has her own clock. She has her own rhythm. And if we stay in line with that, then we get to be kind of swimming downstream with ease. Versus if we fight it, we're going to go upstream and battle against nature. And really, nature is most likely to win. So I really tune back into my rhythm with such reverence and honor. And that's really my first step, putting sleep into place as the key cornerstone for health. And then I know that I'm going to start achieving my health goals. But I really consider February the new January. So I give myself this month to ease into the health goals and things I want to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And as you were commenting that you do these 7 days of reducing the food inducers of inflammation, can you please give us a quick reminder about what are those foods that creates the biggest inflammation according to your studies and what actually you're receiving more this year? What are the top 7 food inducers?
Sure. So typically the top 5 is alcohol, red meat, certain types of red meat, and based on how it's grown, how it's processed, dairy, gluten, and alcohol. So it's important to look at those first and see what they're going to cause in the system. Then it's good to look at other inflammatory foods. Sometimes it's peanuts, sometimes it's soy. There's so many different kinds out there. A lot of different nuts, a lot of different processed oils can be very inflammatory to our system. So yeah, I like to go one by one. And the more we put in the good stuff, all the greens and vegetables and nature, plant-based things, the more we can crowd out how much of we eat of the other inflammatory foods.
Yes, exactly. It's very important to know the source of all these products. Like what we were commenting about, sometimes the meats that come from grass-fed area is much ethical treated than the ones that are industrial. Same like for any grain, like some lands where they are actually using accepting the regulations of Monsanto, then it has a different type of nutrients, right? Or effects in our body. And also, what is your opinion related to coffee and all the agitators, those agitators in our nerve system? That's one of the biggest issues that is actually correlated to the sleep.
Sure. I am okay with people having their coffee because I get it. We all need our different things that we love to get us through the day. I happen to be a green jasmine tea addict. I have my tea very strategically through my day. And if I don't have it, I notice and I need it to stay powered up. But I'm also very cognizant of the fact that if I caffeinate after 3 o'clock, I will see the impact in my sleep. And I like to measure my sleep. I use the Aura Ring or I have a Fitbit. I don't use those year round, but every once in a while I'll go through and just do a little sleep study on myself and evaluate, am I getting the best sleep possible or what factors need to change to improve my sleep? So yeah, it's so important that we look at what we're doing throughout the day and how it's going to impact our sleep. And caffeine is definitely one of them. So with caffeine and people, I tell them, look, you can have coffee, but watch what you're doing and how you're leveraging it. Are you using it according to circadian rhythm? Your morning, you're firing up. Lunch is your highest and biggest meal according to circadian rhythm. Yeah, if you need to pick me up at 3, look at what and where and how and why, but then definitely cut off in time by 1, 2, or 3 so that you have that excellent sleep. Otherwise, to give up good sleep and restful, deep sleep for caffeine is not worth it.
Exactly. Now, Ayurveda describes sleep as a basic instinct of life, essential to all living beings. So sleep is essential. We were commenting that it's actually the base to regulate our body. So we need it to rejuvenate and re-energize our body and our mind and our spirit. And sometimes we just neglect the most fundamental part of our body regulation. So when we sleep, the biggest question that we receive is like, what is the best time to go to sleep?
Sure. So according to the circadian clock that I teach about in my courses and everything, we are to sleep by 10. And the sleep that we get from 10 to 2 is the most powerful sleep. It's worth double what we get from 2 to 6. So if you are one of those people who needs 6 to 7 hours of sleep, still sleeping at 10 matters. Or if you're one of those people who need 7, 8, or 9 hours of sleep, sleeping at 10 matters. So I encourage everyone to look at the 3-2-1 rule. 3 hours before bedtime, stop eating. Be done with your dinner and everything. So that's by 7. By 8, be done with the work of the day. Finish it all. Whatever your workload is, you're not looking at laptops, not looking at screens, not engaging the brain in that way. And then by 9, really be ready to start your wind down self-care and everything that you're meant to do. And I teach Ayurvedic self-care rituals, which we discussed in 2 episodes ago. And we went over all those self-care rituals you can do at night to ease the mind and ease the body into the notion that you're going to go to sleep. The way I teach this sometimes is when we have a little child, we sit there and say, okay, it's time for bed. We pull down the blinds, we turn on the baby music, we do a shower, baby massage. These are all cues to our mind that it's bedtime. And so I developed I've developed a lot of things to teach my body, okay, it's bedtime. We're not thinking about our business. We're not thinking about the problems of life. We're going to transition and honor that sleep is what we're doing now.
Yes, exactly. Very interesting how we are teaching this to our kids, but we get so busy with our own responsibilities that we forget to do this to ourselves and even to our partners. What about if you actually do this to your husband or your wife? It would be so nice to actually take about 30 minutes to connect through touch. That is so important as a human. I think it's the most beautiful language is to learn how to touch, especially doing our massage in the head, massaging the body. Is the language of the silence that can actually speak so loud. So we welcome you to come back into this daily ritual, but especially in the night ritual where you actually take time to wind down, especially your thoughts in your mind that is constantly thinking about what is there for tomorrow, especially if you are a mother, what is for the kids, for the business that you're running. So we understand that this is something that we cannot neglect anymore. We have to take care of our sleep. Now, as I'm reading some statistics, nearly 70 million of Americans have a sleep disorder. Insomnia is the most common sleep disorder, with 30% of adults experiencing short-term insomnia. 10% of people have long-lasting insomnia, and 40% of people report accidentally falling asleep during the day. So again, taking power naps, it could be one of the options. And I actually teach something called Yoga Nidra. And as I was researching about Ayurveda, I found that Ayurveda has 3 main pillars. And one of them is the sleep, which is Nidra, and remind me to Yoga Nidra, which Yoga Nidra means yoga as sleep. So maybe perhaps if you have a toddler that you are teaching how to sleep and it's actually affecting your sleep, or maybe you're breastfeeding or you have a long night of work, perhaps taking a power nap or taking a yoga nidra of a 20 to 30 minutes practice, it will be able to relax your beta waves and bring you back into those alpha waves that can actually relax and regulate your system. So please, Dr. Shivani, tell us a little bit about these 3 pillars and how important is the nidra out of the 3. We have the food, which is ahara, and control over the sexual and energy, which is the brahmacharya. Tell us a little bit about these 3 pillars.
Sure. So, in Ayurveda, there are the 3 main pillars, and I usually teach it as 6 pillars. I've kind of expanded on the different areas of Ayurveda that I think we need to incorporate into our lives to really win at our health. Nutrition is a big part of Ayurveda. What we eat, how we eat, when we eat it, the timing of it, who grew it, what is the energy of the person who's making it, and how all of that's going to come together to create the nutrition that our body needs so we can absorb it, so we can assimilate it, process it, utilize it, and then send it out and excrete it. And so it's a big concept in Ayurveda, but we try to create ojas. We try to create this by eating well and being so good about our food. We're creating this nectar within ourselves that gives us vitality. That's what we're seeking in nutrition. And yes, Ayurveda is also very much about controlling our urges and being aware that, look, this is one body that we have been given to use in this life, but that doesn't mean we're sitting here and just having fun all the time. Like, we're here to really control our urges, whether it's food or with other things. And then sleep, sleep is circadian rhythm. Sleep is the building block of health. If we don't sleep well, we're not getting the rest we need. We're not clearing inflammation in the body. We're not allowing the immune system to get in there and do what it needs to do. And so what's beautiful is modern science is proving so much of what Ayurveda already taught us. We're seeing this idea that I teach is at night, imagine it this way. If you need like a picture, imagine garbage trucks come out at night, like little cute green garbage trucks, and they come into your mind and they collect all the garbage that collected during the day, the thoughts and the feelings and the things that did not serve, all the things that you consumed in terms of your mind. And the same garbage truck goes through to your heart, all emotions, feelings, all the things that came through that you had to process there. Then it goes to your digestive system, picks up all the junk there, any of the processed foods or foods that were not really foods, and gums and things that we eat, chemicals. And then these garbage trucks, because we went into a deep sleep state, we slept at the optimal time from 10 to 2, and then allowed the body to stay into deep sleep states, those garbage trucks are able to pick up all of that and release it. That's why our immune system isn't in a traffic jam with inflammation and chronic low-grade persistent inflammation. And our immune system can really defend us against invaders. Our body can say, oh, that chronic low-grade persistent inflammation that we allowed, we're going to clear that out too. So we can be in homeostasis and we can be strong and vital and defend ourselves against all that is, but also live optimally. Like I want people to have profound optimal health. I want incredible gut health, incredible brain health, incredible energy. And that comes from revering sleep as the first building block of health and really putting it in the right place. And so over the years, I studied turmeric. I'm really good at helping people with their inflammation. And then I realized if they're not going to sleep well, they're going to stay inflamed. And then I'm really not winning. I'm just giving you turmeric during the day for that problem. So that's when I dove into sleep research and talking about sleep and developing a formula and a tea for sleep. Because I was like, I have this problem. If I have this problem, everyone has this problem.
Exactly. So as we have been putting together all our conversations, we understand that inflammation can be one consequence of a low or a lack of adequate sleep. And that's why for us, we're reminding you today as our last talk together that sleep is the most crucial factor that is going to create a game changer in your inflammation. If you notice that you are having migraines, maybe because during the night is when our brain actually flushes and it has a lymphatic system. Same like our whole body has a lymphatic system, our brain has a lymphatic system, and it actually activates during the night. So that's why we need to have bringing these fluids out and in from the brain. And if we go to sleep after even 10, we start diminishing the effectivity of the process of, like you're saying, those working guys are not really able to do the whole task if you go into sleep after 11 when your body is supposed to be already at that moment resting. So I think one of the most important key points of our conversation today, if you're actually taking notes, is that we are actually inviting you to do more in the morning and do less in the night, because that's how our ancestrals and our the very first, let's say our grandparents and long time ago when actually was no electricity like now, they used to do it. They used to follow the sun light, and then by the sunset, there was not much to do but sleep and perhaps practice that third pillar of the sexual activity, which is so important as well. Tell us a little bit about the correlation between sleep deprivation and the sexual activity. I know this Ayurveda is very in tune into sexual activity, so please give us a little bit of this topic, especially because this podcast goes to parents and goes to adults that sometimes are also neglecting this part of the Ayurveda.
It's not an area I studied so deeply. I became so obsessed with herbs and spices that I'm very much like herbs, spices that help us in all the ways. I'm obsessed with herbs for vitality and hormone balancing. So I develop a lot of things around menopause and hormone balancing, brain health, gut health. So it's not as much my topic. But I do think that anytime we have things that disrupt our energy, that's going to impact how we approach our spouse, our partner, and whomever in our life and how we feel. And so for me, life is all about how do I have the energy I need to go forward? Like I look at my day in quarters: morning, work day, kids, evening and family again. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm empty, if I have nothing in the tank, I am not the kindest mother. I'm not the kindest wife in that last piece of the day. And that piece also matters. That's the people closest to me. That's who's in my household. That's who I love the most. And so I really do teach all these aspects of health from Ayurveda: nutrition, sleep, supplements, super spices, diet, dosha, hormone balancing, because I find that when any of those is out of whack in us, we're not going to win at our health, and movement too. And so coming back to sleep, chronic inflammation in the body could be the reason our sleep is disrupted. And then when our sleep is disrupted, we're not going to sleep well. We're going to be crankier. We're not going to be as nice to everyone around us. And so really looking at that is very important. And I find people don't know that they have bad sleep. When I developed my sleep formula a long time ago, I saw a trend where all the women were buying it for their husbands. And I was like, well, what is that trend? And what I saw was the men were sleeping badly. It was impacting the woman's sleep. And so I started teaching about sleep and saying everyone should measure their sleep. And men, what's interesting is they're very much data driven. So if I put a Fitbit on a man and he's like, hey, why do I have sleep disruption like that? If I want to win at this, I'm going to change these factors. And that's motivating. And so I really like to look at sleep as, let's look at the data here, and then let's figure out how to optimize it, men and women, so that we can show up in our relationships whole and healthy and energized, ready to be our best selves.
Yes, exactly. It's important that not only men but women, there is an epidemic of insomnia and sleep disruptions as well. Not only because people tend to go to sleep watching TV, which is something, it's a habit that is very popular. I removed my TV from my home. I think like 10 years ago, I decided not to have a TV anymore. So there is no disruptions or distractions in my place. And I know it sounds like I'm an alien, but I decided to do that, and I actually don't miss it at all. I choose the night to actually get connected to my partner, or to read books, or even to stretch. I try to do things that doesn't require to be connected to the digital world. So it's my time, like I also have my priority with myself. And I think anyone that loves me will understand this and would not judge me or criticize me. And I also encourage you to try the same, because I think the more people have the awareness of the sleep hygiene, the more standard and the normal will become to be taking care of ourselves. And this is going to be a ripple effect for everybody around us. And I was actually researching about the numbers. And do you know what time is the average of the Canadians go to sleep?
No, I know in the US, Fitbit published that it was 11:02 p.m. is the average time that Americans sleep, which means 10 or 12, and we're meeting in the middle at 11. So imagine that half of people are sleeping at midnight and missing half of their opportunity to clear out their lymphatic system, clear out that inflammation. They're not allowing the glymphatic and lymphatic system to do their job.
Yes, exactly. Well, in Canada, the average of Canadians sleep around 11 p.m.
Okay.
It's not so bad, but it definitely could be better, because ideally the circadian rhythm starts a little bit before 10. So I think by 11, you're kind of pushing a little bit of the circadian rhythm. But back in the day, I actually lived in Singapore, a beautiful place that I have such a beautiful memories and friends. And it was a night owl place. Everybody by 9 p.m., they start getting active. Let's start going out. Let's start having dinner. It was 1 a.m. The streets were full. So definitely, like, we can see that certain places tend to be very in the action in late times. Do you have this feeling that also in states, certain states are actually really busy during the night?
Yeah, I think any big metropolitan city, New York City, Miami, San Francisco, like certain big cities are going to have so much more to do so much later. But I do think that people are getting much more aware around sleep. Like you have biohacking as a topic, longevity is such a big topic right now. Ayurveda is coming along finally as part of these topics. And so people are understanding even circadian rhythm. Nobel Peace Prize winners published that circadian rhythm is true. And we in Ayurveda obviously knew it was true, but it's good when modern science says, actually, that's scientifically valid, that we do have a circadian rhythm. And in Ayurveda, we teach that our pitta time of day, our fiery time of day, is 10 to 2. That's why during the day, your 10 to 2 is the best time to eat and be productive and have that lunch that you're going to digest. The problem is at night, if you go too far past 10 into 11, I have found that if I'm like, oh gosh, it was a long day, I need to unwind. And then I get on social media to like read and relax. If I cross 11, I know my pitta, I am a pitta. So my pitta dosha is just going to fire up and I'll keep going. And that's why people say they're night owls, because once you cross 10 and then 11, 12 is like the highest point in the circadian rhythm clock. You're supported for your mind to be like, let's go again and work and do. And so it's so important that we recognize that, have the awareness of it and say, okay, anytime I get near midnight, I'm going to stop, just stop what I'm doing and make sure I put myself to bed so I don't lose the whole part of the evening for my body to be clearing out what it needs to clear out and putting my hormones back into the right place, putting my, like resetting all the systems. It's a computer. You have to hit the reset button at night. It can't stay on forever.
Yes, exactly. And you will notice that actually when you start going to sleep a little earlier, you will start losing body inflammation. So this will translate of body weight loss. You will see. I actually encourage you to try it out for 10 days. If you sleep now at 11:30, do it at 11 for 10 days. I promise you're gonna lose at least 1 pound in those 10 days. I've been testing that for many years, and people have even shown 7 kilos lost because one of my previous clients was sleeping at 3 a.m. I sent her back home. I told her, I want you to sleep. I'm not going to see you for 8 weeks, and just focusing on sleep. Your goal is to sleep as early to 11 possible. She was at 3 a.m. By the time I saw her back in 8 weeks later, she lost 7 kilos, not by training, not by exercising. It was simply by regulating her circadian rhythm. So she was actually very surprised that it wasn't so much effort. It was more of awareness about the value of resting and recovery. So thank you so much, Dr. Shivani. I think you have given us a lot of support at the beginning of this year, and it's an episode that you can actually replay and kind of take a look and notes if you're actually very curious now about your doshas and constitution. I think now we have a lot of content that can help you to understand Ayurveda. And remember that if you apply the dinacharya of waking up in the morning, being able to see the sunrise and understand that every sunrise is actually the welcoming of new opportunities, and the sunset is the saying goodbye to the past. Always remind that the sun is a way to give you the life force, and knowing that it's an opportunity to do something new. It's actually feeling the gratitude in the morning. It will actually shift your whole energy for the day, and perhaps the direction of your future will take a better brighten. So we encourage you to get back into the essential of Ayurveda, or essential of living with longevity. And Shivani has actually a line of products that she is putting together with a lot of studies, and she really helps. She is really helping the woman coaching in Florida and also globally. Give us a little bit of the top 3 supplements that you have for sleep, especially for sleep.
Sure. So what we're most known for is definitely turmeric golden inflammation relief. I'm obsessed with turmeric and what it can do for us. And so I want to reduce that inflammation so we get better sleep. And so we just don't have all the joint pain and issues we have. For sleep, I made something called deep sleep tea because I wanted to put together all the incredible herbs from Ayurveda that relax the mind, relax the system to give us a better night's sleep. But I find that sometimes we need help getting put on the right sleep cycle. And so I developed something called Deep Sleep Formula, and it's liquid sublingual drops where people can take it. It's natural. It's got a little bit of melatonin, but really the Ayurveda ingredients for sleep. And you decide how much sleep you want. So if you want to take it in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, you take it then, or you can take it earlier. And I also developed a sleep guide that I put on my website because I wanted people to understand the knowledge of why they should sleep better, and then have a few great herbal natural supports that can help give you the result as well. So both exist. So the guide is on my website, shivanigupta.com, and the supplements are all on my website, Fusionary Formulas.
Okay, great. So you got 3 different supplements. I'm sure you can always try one by one and see which one suits you, which one gives you the best results. Understanding that beyond any supplement, everything starts by becoming aware and taking your lifestyle into the actions that will help and support your energy and your body and mind. So thank you so much, Dr. Shivani. It's been a pleasure, and that's it. We actually had 4 episodes together, and we're looking forward to have you again. And we wish you a lot of success and joy this 2023. And do you want to send us to one of your, I think on February, I think you have something special on February. Can you remind us?
Yes, I'm going to do a master class on health is wealth and all the ways we can use the Ayurveda tools to invest in our health. And so just visit shivanigupta.com and you'll get the notifications about it. And my goal is to help us reduce that inflammation, get set with our health goals, and use Ayurveda as our way of life going forward so that we are maintaining that vibrant health that we want.
Yes, we can wait to be part of your next workshop. And thank you so much. We wish you success and joy. And remember, everyone, that together we are stronger.
We invite you to subscribe to this channel and share with your community. Please leave comments below, and if you like the episode, click the like button. Have a beautiful day.